Today on an all-new Dr. Phil, her family claims she's a hoarder.
500 Halloween costumes, 3,000 toys.
And 50 Christmas trees. How many of those do you still have?
I still have all of them.
She was also a hypochondriac.
You've had 40 trips to the ER, daily panic attacks.
Sorry, I can't get a deep enough breath.
35 doctors have told her there's nothing wrong with you.
I know what I'm feeling.
So your theory is there are 35 morons out there. Let's do it.
Have a good show, everybody. Here we go.
This is a safe place to talk about hard things.
Stand by. We'll count you down.
Today's going to be a changing day in your life.
5, 4.
I am not giving up on you. Kelly is here today, and she says that her daughter Danielle used to be a vibrant young woman who loved life. She had ambitions and devoted herself to her 3 children and loving boyfriend. Now, she worked hard, lived life to the fullest, and looked forward to what the future held. But Kelly says that all changed, and now her daughter is a health-obsessed hypochondriac and a hoarder who spends her days monitoring her vitals and going to the ER and buying thousands of dollars worth of useless junk, including most recently 50 Christmas trees. God, I hope they were artificial. Kelly says Danielle changed almost overnight, and now not only can she not drive, she can't work, and she can't take care of her children by herself. Kelly says things are so bad, Danielle joined an online cancer support group because she was convinced she had cancer and is now convinced her eyes have changed shape due to coughing. So is Danielle really sick? Have doctors just missed the underlying cause of all of her problems? Well, Kelly says she believes her daughter's problems are really all in her head. Take a look.
So this is my finger pulse and oxygen machine.
My daughter Danielle is OCD and a hypochondriac. Danielle's causing her own anxiety. She expects to get sick, so she gets sick. Her behaviors have become more out of control within the last 17 months. Danielle used to be very social, very outgoing, very driven. She has 3 children and was active in their lives, and now she doesn't have the drive to be able to take care of her kids like she used to. My daughter Danielle looks like the Walking Dead. Danielle has lost a lot of weight. She's lost at least 60 pounds over the last 4 months.
I weigh myself once a day every morning. I do that because I'm losing weight and it's scaring me.
She told me that she has anxiety cycles and she expects to be anxious as soon as she wakes up. Her heart races, she thinks she's dying. Danielle is bringing these panic attacks on herself. Danielle has bought machines to check her blood pressure because she thinks it's connected to her anxiety. She is obsessed with checking her blood pressure, checking her blood sugar, weighing herself, and checking her pulse rate.
So these are alkaline test papers. When you put it on your tongue, it lets you know the pH of your body. I'm probably a little more acidic than I should be.
If any of those tests are off, it throws her into an anxiety attack. Danielle has major panic attacks 1 to 2 times a day. He starts out with just a small symptom of being dizzy, and it snowballs into, I need to go to the ER. Sometimes it's a heart attack. One time she thought she had a brain aneurysm. Danielle is constantly going to the ER. Danielle was going to the ER 2 to 3 times a week. She is also a hoarder. She doesn't like to get rid of things.
Some of it is my stockpile, I guess you could call it.
I think the chaos in her life from all of the stuff causes extra anxiety. Her manic episodes are getting out of control, and I believe that all of the medical issues are completely in her head. I've told her that just because she's panicking does not mean that she is dying.
Okay, so when you say you think this is all in her head, what does that mean to you?
Well, she's seen a lot of doctors. I think she has 27 doctors.
Right.
She's gone to the ER 40 times.
Right.
She gets taken by ambulance. She goes to the doctors. They're always taking exams and tests. She's had MRIs, she's had CT scans, she's had sonograms, and they never find anything. So she doesn't believe them. She thinks that they're wrong. The doctors don't know what they're talking about, and so she needs to find another doctor that can actually do the right test because they're not doing the right stuff.
All right. Well, she has been to the doctor a lot.
She has.
I kind of accumulated it all. I pulled it together so we'd have an idea of the magnitude of what we're talking about. And she had 35 doctor's visits just since December of 16.
She'll just show up to the doctors without an appointment.
Yeah. Do you think she's making this up for attention? You think she's faking this? Do you think what do you mean?
I don't think she's faking it. I think she really believes something is physically wrong with her. That she truly believes she's physically ill.
Okay. Do you believe you're sitting in that chair right now?
I do.
All right. So what would be the chance of me convincing you you're not?
There's no chance you could convince me that I'm not sitting in this chair.
Okay, because you believe you are.
Right.
We believe ourselves. We trust what we tell ourselves. We believe ourselves. So
Right.
if you believe you're sitting in that chair right now, I can talk till I'm blue in the face. I'm not going to convince you you're not.
Right.
So if that's what you think, if you think she really believes that, you're not going to tell her that this is all in her head, that she's not really sick. The question is why?
I don't know why.
But isn't that the question that
That
you
is
have to
the
deal
question.
with?
Yes.
And just telling her to suck it up. If she was malingering, making it up for attention, if she was just somehow had some ulterior motive for this, then you could work at that. But you believe that she really is sincere, that she believes she's sick.
I believe she believes she's sick. I know. I've seen in such a state of mind that she thought she was dying. I mean, falling on the floor, crying, shaking. At an ER visit, she was telling the nurse, please stop trying to kill me. She thought the nurses were trying to kill her.
Okay, now, up until a year ago, life of the party.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, she was very social.
Her boyfriend said she was the life of the party, fun, joking around. So what happened a year ago?
I don't know. She got pregnant, and while she was pregnant, she found out that she had BRCA positive, and I
Right.
think that kind of scared her. And we tried to think maybe it was postpartum because it happened while she was pregnant. She thought her iron levels were off.
Hold on a minute. All of her life, she's been fine, life of the party. Then all of a sudden, something changed.
Right.
Don't you think you need to look real hard at what happened around that time?
Right, and that's what I was thinking. She was tested positive for BRCA at that time.
Okay, so at that point, she tests positive for BRCA, and when you have the BRCA gene, what do they tell you about that?
They tell you that your chances of cancer are very high.
Right.
She was
breast
pregnant.
cancer is
Right.
very high. It's something above
80%, 88%.
Yeah, like 88% that,
Right.
you could wind up with breast cancer.
Right. They
Okay,
told her she was
that's
pregnant.
pretty significant.
Yeah, she was pregnant at the time. They told her if she ended up with cancer, that they couldn't treat her because she couldn't take chemo while she was pregnant, and that
So that creates a helpless feeling.
does.
Okay.
And then that they told her that the BRCA gene causes the breast cancer to spread really fast. So it's a
Right.
fast-acting cancer, and her chances of it spreading faster before she could be helped.
Okay, so
would be
now we
great.
do have a bomb ticking inside.
Right.
Okay, and so what happened at that point to a family member?
My uncle has cancer. My father has cancer right now. So, yeah.
Okay, so she tests positive for a gene that says she's got a 80+% chance of having breast cancer at some point.
And ovarian cancer. Her last sonogram was for ovarian cancer.
And ovarian cancer. Then she has two family members that are diagnosed with cancer.
My mother died of breast cancer.
And she's pregnant and says if that happens, you can't be treated.
Right.
Other than that, I don't have a clue what could have happened here.
Right.
What a puzzle. Okay, Danielle says she's gone to the ER 40 times, seen 27 doctors, and taken hundreds of medical tests, and doctors still cannot figure out what is wrong with her. Well, we're going to meet her when we come back. Now, I just said there were some events that I think could be triggers here. I don't know. Maybe it's just me, but those seem relevant. But it's not what happens, it's how you react to it. That's what we're going to talk about after the break.
Right now I'm feeling anxiety. The light is hurting my eyes and I am very lightheaded. I feel there's an underlying issue that's causing my anxiety that has not been discovered.
And later, 50 Christmas trees. How many of those have you sold?
I have all of those still.
1,000 Halloween costumes. How many of those do you still have?
I still have all of them.
Did you go shopping while you were here?
Yes, I bought more than my family wanted me to.
Danielle is obsessed with going to the doctor. She is jumping from doctor to doctor trying to find someone to cure her.
These are all the medicines that I've been prescribed, another antidepressant that I wasn't going to take. This was prescribed to me for anxiety, but I never took it.
She's seeing several doctors a day. She's pretty much doctor shopping. Danielle is always looking for something that's wrong with her. She's had enough medical tests to know that there's nothing physically wrong with her. Doctors have turned her away and told her not to come back.
Danielle says in the last year she has become so debilitated that she could no longer drive, work, or be alone. She couldn't even be alone at work. Someone had to go sit with her while she was at work. She says she can't be alone with her children. Somebody has to be with her when she's with her children because she's in fear she will have a major panic attack. She says her doctors chalk it all up to anxiety. Danielle really bristles at that. She says she knows there's something seriously wrong with her and that they just can't find it. Take a look.
I think about my health and my physical situation 100 times more than the average person does. I live my life minute by minute because of my anxiety. Right now I'm feeling anxiety. I can't get a deep enough breath as often as I want to. The light is hurting my eyes and I'm very lightheaded. I was seeing stars like when I walked in here because I'm so lightheaded. This is just something I feel every day. I went to my primary care doctor for a regular checkup. When they took my blood pressure, it was 94/63. My blood pressure has never been that low. It instantly sent me into a downward spiral. Ever since then, I was like, I'm just gonna monitor my own blood pressure. I've taken my blood pressure up to like 12 to 15 times a day on a really bad day. My blood pressure is 110/79. I don't like that number. I check my blood sugar like 3 times in an hour. I use pH strips to check the pH levels of my blood. I want to know what's going on inside of my body. It's very disheartening when you go to people for help and they just shrug you off as like a crazy person. I feel there's an underlying issue that's causing my anxiety that has not been discovered. My mother, Kelly, doesn't understand my anxiety is debilitating. When I start feeling symptoms, my mother will tell me, just knock it off. It's just anxiety. It's not a big deal. I'm like, okay, I'll just ignore the fact that I'm having a stabbing pain in my heart. I know absolutely what I'm feeling is real. It's terrifying.
Well, it's good to meet you.
You too.
How do you feel about being here?
I'm not nervous being here. I feel very hopeful being here, but I'm not feeling good at all right now.
Physically, you're not feeling good?
No.
Tell me what's happening with you physically.
At this very moment, I'm extremely lightheaded. My heart is beating very hard, and I'm feeling very shaky, very anxious. I can't get a deep enough breath.
And tell me how you interpret that.
Something is wrong with me. I need to check my blood pressure. Maybe I'm having low sodium, or maybe I'm, having something off inside of me internally that is causing these reactions.
Do you discount situational factors? I mean, you are on national television, and look around. You are.
I don't ever
got
discount.
7 cameras on you, and
I'm honestly not nervous over it though.
Yeah.
But I mean, maybe it's subconscious, and I don't know.
Well, right now, your condition is causing you to spend a lot of time focused on your health. You've had 40 trips to the ER. 15 of those have been in an ambulance.
Yes.
Okay. You've had daily panic attacks, weekly major attacks.
Yes.
Lightheadedness, like you're describing now.
Constant.
Heart palpitations, like you're describing now. Shortness of breath, like you're describing now. And pain on your left side.
Yes.
Weak legs.
Yes.
You have weakness in your legs now when you walked out here?
Not when I walked out here, no.
Ears closing and popping?
It feels like my earlobes will contract.
Okay.
And that they want to close on me.
Yeah, and you can't be anywhere by yourself because if one of these attacks happens, then you'd be alone and you wouldn't be able to.
I wouldn't have any support or someone to help me.
And so you can't take care of the house.
No.
You can't work without having some adult with you. Again, in case one of these things happens, you wouldn't have any support. You can't watch the kids without somebody there because if something happened, then the kids would be without adult supervision.
Yes.
Can't drive.
No.
How many times you check your blood pressure a day? 3 times, you say?
If you want like an average number, I would say 3 to 5 times is a good number.
You regularly check your sugar, pH, oxygen, heart rate levels?
Yes, everything.
By yourself every day? A lot of
Yes.
people do that. Constantly on the phone, researching symptoms, right? You've been to the ER 40 times. And all 40 times, they didn't find some dread disease, right?
No, it gave me more frustration because I know what I'm feeling.
Do you see different doctors each time?
You know, I go to like 3 different hospitals.
So out of that, maybe seen 30 different doctors?
Yeah.
35? Well, I mean, so your theory is there are 35 morons out there.
I don't think that they're morons. I think that doctors are quick to chalk it up to the umbrella of anxiety when you are labeled with something like that.
Would you feel better if you were sick? If you had a diagnosis?
That's a hard question because I want to say yes, I would, because then I would have an answer and I would be able to start a path to recovery, but then I would be scared at the same time because then then it's real, then I really have something wrong with me and named something that's going on with me.
So on the one hand, at least you'd know.
Yes.
On the other hand, you'd know.
Pretty much.
So you're really hoping that maybe they're right.
Maybe.
Isn't a little part of you in the back of your mind hoping they're right?
Yes.
All right, we're going to take a break. Kelly says Danielle is a hoarder who is obsessed with shopping, so much so that she recently purchased 50 Christmas trees. Were these artificial trees?
Of course.
Thank you. All right. Danielle says she's not a hoarder and her clearance shopping is a profitable hobby. We'll talk about that after the break.
I essentially get a rush out of clearance shopping. It's mostly the thrill of finding the deal. I probably have like 3,000 toys in my garage and they're all brand new.
She won't get rid of them. She'll let the kids play with some toys, but they have to play with them in the box. She'll have a yard sale and people will say, oh, I want to buy this. And she'll say, that's not for sale, that's mine.
And later, you said the doctors don't know and you don't know.
Well, I'm hoping that you know. I'm giving this baggage I carry to you. I woke up at 3:30 a.m. I was having abnormal anxiety. Woke me out of my sleep. I keep a daily diary of my symptoms. Every time I take my blood pressure, my blood sugar, anytime I eat something. So I got up and I checked my blood sugar and it was 140. And my pulse was 80 to 90. At 7:30, I took my blood sugar again. I was having anxiety and then I took some vitamin C. And then at 9:36, I had a dizzy attack. Sometimes there will be like 50 entries. Sometimes there will only be 3 or 4. It depends on the kind of day I'm having.
Well, Kelly says her daughter Danielle is not only a hypochondriac, which is really an outdated term, we don't really use that term anymore, and that she is also a hoarding shopaholic. In fact, Kelly says her daughter recently purchased $1,000 worth of Halloween costumes and 50 Christmas trees. But Danielle says she's not a hoarder. She stores everything in the garage and simply loves clearance shopping. Take a look.
Danielle is extremely manic about shopping. Her garage is filled with things that she has bought.
I essentially get a rush out of clearance shopping. It's mostly the thrill of finding the deal. My favorite hobby is to shop for bargains and deals.
Danielle has gone shopping while she was sick. She can drive to the mall, but she can't drive to work. She would go to the store and buy 30 containers of laundry soap. Then she would buy 20 or 30 fabric softeners and buy 15 packages of toilet paper. She collects toys, Christmas pajamas. She just went out and spent $1,000 on Halloween costumes.
All of these blue tubs are brand new Halloween costumes. I probably have about 500 to 600 Halloween costumes. I probably have like 3,000 toys in my garage and they're all brand new. I have 3 little kids, so I like to stock up for future birthdays, future Christmases.
She's on a blog and they'll tell her, oh, today there's $1 pajamas. So she'll go and buy 500 pairs of pajamas. She recently bought 50 Christmas trees.
My mom thinks that I have a hoarding issue, but she's absolutely wrong because I feel that if you're a hoarder, you can't let go of the stuff.
She won't get rid of them. She'll let the kids play with some toys, but they have to play with them in the box.
My kids just see it and they're kind of just like, those are mom's toys.
She'll have a yard sale and people will come and they'll say, oh, I want to buy this. And she'll say, that's mine. This is her stuff. It's like her baby.
I love it because I know how much work I put into going to the stores and getting the deals. It's a lot of work.
That is a lot of work, isn't it? Mm-hmm. Okay,
Yeah,
so this is a kind of a profitable side business hobby.
It can be, yeah.
So how much have you got invested in it overall? You would think you bought $1,000 worth of Halloween costumes and 50 Christmas trees and lots of toys and stuff. Well, you got 10 grand, 20 grand, 15?
Yeah, I would say between like $5,000 and $8,000.
$5,000 and $8,000, And more, you think?
I think she has $30,000 or $40,000 worth of stuff in there.
Let's talk on the liquidation side. What's been the income that you generated off of it?
It's different because when I buy this stuff, I don't know what I'm going to necessarily do with it.
50 Christmas trees. How many of those have you sold?
I have all of those still because it's not Christmas, so
Okay.
no one's going to be looking to buy a tree.
All right, you bought 1,000 Halloween costumes. How many of those do you still have?
I still have all of them.
Did you go shopping while you were here?
Yes, I went shopping while I was here.
Did you buy a lot of stuff?
I bought more than my family wanted me to.
Yeah, all those hangers are things you're buying.
Yes, all of those hangers
And the
are things
basket.
I'm buying.
And
And
the
the
basket.
And then the basket behind it, which is full.
Yes.
You don't think it's a good thing for her to be buying all this stuff,
Oh,
right?
no. I don't think it's a good
It
thing for
looks
her to
to
buy
me
all
like a hell of a fire hazard for one thing, but nonetheless.
I tell her the same thing.
So why do you take her? She says she can't drive. Why do you take her?
We went last night for something totally different. And while we were there, she just happened, well, I'm going to go look. And she went off on her own.
Why do you think that you are this way now? Everyone describes you as all your life you've been fun and energetic and described as the life of the party until about a year ago.
Yes.
And then about a year ago,
It was basically like a light switch.
just like a light switch. What happened a year ago?
So when I was pregnant with my third child, I started having some mild anxiety, and I attributed that to my anemia because I was severely anemic. But then after I had her, I was fine for a while, and actually 1 year ago today is actually when my constant every single day problems started. And
A year ago today.
a year ago today, yeah. I started getting like these weird hot and cold sensations up and down my arms, and that turned into me being very lightheaded, and one day those weird sensations just went through my whole entire body. And I'm like, oh my goodness, like I'm gonna have a seizure, something's wrong. So I called 911, they took me in, they were like, we can't find anything going on with you, we think maybe you're just having some anxiety. Sorry. This just helps me when I can't get a deep enough breath. It's probably one of my oils.
Do you feel like I'm listening to you?
I feel like you're hearing me, yeah. I'm not sure if you're understanding it like how I understand it in my head.
What is it you think I'm not understanding?
I don't know, I just want that we've talked enough to understand fully like how I feel.
93% of all communication is nonverbal.
Well, that's my fact for the day that I didn't know.
It's how you present, your face, intonation, body language, all of those things. I've been listening to all of that too, so I've heard a lot more than you might think. And,
Well, I'm curious to know what that is.
I'll bet you are.
I am.
Danielle says her boyfriend Jeremiah has become angry, frustrated, and impatient after dealing with her issues for a year. We'll meet him after the break. You all sound like you're hoping for a tumor or something.
Yeah, well,
No anxiety medication is working.
But how compliant are you now?
I'm compliant to a point.
Closed captioning provided by
I have a very bad phobia of medicines, so I decided to look at natural remedies. I took a powdered magnesium supplement for my anxiety, because I was told it's supposed to be like a bath for your nervous system, bathe you in a calm. And it actually had the adverse effect on me. I felt like I was gonna black out. Now I use essential oils like lavender and peppermint. I just open up the bottle and just take a deep breath. So this has peppermint in it. When I breathe, I just will smell my oil. It just helps me get the breath I'm looking for.
Danielle's boyfriend, Jeremiah, says in the last year, Danielle has become angry, manic, moody, and a shell of the once vibrant woman that he loves. Now, Jeremiah says he believes Danielle could get better, but it will never happen because she refuses to follow through with any of her doctor's treatment plans. Take a look.
I miss the old Danielle. We used to be two peas in a pod. Danielle has always been the center of attention, the life of the party, and very active. Now Danielle has become withdrawn. She definitely doesn't take pride in her appearance anymore. She used to get ready, do her hair, makeup. She definitely doesn't put that same amount of energy into her appearance when we go out. Just a complete 180 of who she used to be. Now we argue more than we ever did because of her short fuse, because of her anxiety. It seems like anything I say will set her off. During Christmas, we had an argument about changing our daughter's clothes. That blew into this huge argument. I've gone a few days without talking to her because I feel like I have to walk on eggshells. I just don't want to say the wrong thing and trigger something. One time we were at the doctor's office and she just started to freak out. She said her heart was stopping. She couldn't breathe. She continued to say, "No, I'm dying." She was told that her heart's beating fine and she's going to be okay. Her anxiety attack can be triggered by the smallest thing. It's caused difficult times in our relationship. We don't go out very often anymore because she doesn't like to drive or venture out in public. We're not able to go out as a family and have fun. I'm afraid that nothing's going to change. I'm supportive, but there's only so much I can take.
So you're frustrated?
A little frustrated, yeah.
Yeah. And what is it you think is driving this? What is it you think her motive is?
I don't know if there's a motive there. I think that she really does feel like something is wrong with her, and she really wants to resolve it. I know that she likes who she, loves who she used to be.
But what would cause somebody to do that? I mean, how do you answer that in your own mind? You got to be driving along thinking about what the hell is going on here.
Yeah.
I mean, 35 doctors have told her there's nothing wrong with you, and you keep going back looking for something wrong with you. What do you tell yourself?
Eventually, we're going to find something, and we're going to find what's wrong, and it's going to get fixed, and we're going to be done and back to where we were. So I just want to be there. And
you all sound like you're hoping for a tumor or something.
Yeah, well, trying to find that resolve.
Yeah, we're looking for a name, a specific name of something that is wrong, because no anxiety medication is working.
But how compliant are you now?
I'm compliant.
No, you have to be honest. Come on.
I'm compliant to a point. So, because
To a point.
I'm compliant to a point. So, when I've taken medicines and it causes worse feelings, or it causes my heart to feel weird, or it causes anything off in my body, I am, for some reason, this past year, now terrified of that medicine. I just know what I feel, and I know what I've already tried. And so since medicines have failed that have worked before, it's
But if you're so smart, why can't you figure this out?
I know. That's what I'm talking about. I don't know how I don't know what's going on with me yet.
What? You said the doctors don't know and you don't know.
Well, I'm hoping that you know. I'm giving this baggage I carry to you to help me.
No pressure.
Actually, I think I do.
I'm waiting.
We're going to sort all of this out. Kelly says a few weeks ago, Danielle had a major panic attack, ran into the street, and was taken away by an ambulance. Kelly said she was horrified to learn Danielle begged a stranger to watch her 3 young children while she went to the hospital. Now, we're going to talk about that after the break, and I'm going to start answering some questions that I think are going to make some sense and get us on the path to some answers. We'll be right back. Closed captioning provided by
Danielle used to be a great mom. My oldest granddaughter has said that my mom is sick today, or my mom is sad, because Danielle cries a lot. Recently, I had to take the kids for a week because she couldn't handle them. Her last big attack, she was panicking. She told me that she called 911. She was having a panic attack, so she was afraid that the kids were going to see her break down, so she ran outside, asked an neighbor. She didn't know him. Please take care of my kids. I need to go. I'm dying. Luckily, my dad pulled up because she may have left the kids with someone she didn't even know.
Now, you were listening at the beginning of the show before you were out here, right? Mm-hmm. When I was talking to your mother? Mm-hmm. And, you know, I was talking about the fact that I would never be able to talk her out of believing she's sitting in that chair.
Yes.
Because we believe ourselves, right? Do y'all believe yourselves when you tell yourself something? Perception is reality. What you believe to be true is your truth. So if you believe that you're sick, if you really believe you're sick, then you're sick.
Okay.
Perception is reality. We don't respond to what happens in the world. We respond to what we say to ourselves about what happens in the world. A lot of my practice back when I had a real job, I don't just play a doctor on TV. I used to actually have an office and see people and go to the hospital and see people. Was focused in the area called behavioral medicine. Mm-hmm. And behavioral medicine is an interdisciplinary field in which the research and practice of medicine and psychology merge to understand and treat patients. It's an integration of biological, psychological, behavioral, and social sciences. Those may all be a part of treatment plans. My particular focus was brain and central nervous system, but behavioral medicine deals with how all of this comes together. And I want to talk to you about normal versus abnormal. Do you think right now you're functioning as normal or abnormal?
It's abnormal.
Okay, why?
Because I can't do anything by myself or for myself. Okay. And I'm constantly feeling symptoms of a typical anxiety attack. Mm-hmm. So.
Well, let me give you a definition I want you to hold on to, because I want you to shoot for normal. And here are the definitions I want you to know. Normal does not interfere with healthy functioning and pursuit of goals. Whatever we're talking about. Something is normal if it does not interfere with healthy functioning and pursuit of goals. Abnormal interferes with healthy functioning and pursuit of goals. And right now, your health management, your health focus, your health preoccupation interferes with your functioning and pursuit of goals, right?
Yes, absolutely.
So it's abnormal.
Yes, because even though I continue to do these things and feel that I need to do these things, I know that that's not something I would have done a year ago. So I know that it's not normal.
What is it you think you're going to find?
When I'm going to the doctor and taking my blood
No,
pressure.
when you're doing all this monitoring, this vigilance, you say, I'm a little acidic today, or my blood pressure is a little low. So?
Maybe I'll find a pattern of something, or maybe I'll see what my levels are in my moment of panic and when I'm not in my panic, and I'll be able to show this to a doctor and it'll give them some kind of insight on how I feel every day versus just how a blood test is going to show them.
Mm-hmm. Well, let me tell you how this works. There's something, the process, doctors don't really diagnose things. They go through a process called differential diagnosis. And what that means is a patient comes in and we don't know what's wrong with you. I guarantee you right now, if I was seeing you as part of a treatment team, you come in and you say, here's what's going on. I don't know what's wrong with you. We would start out and we would take a look at all of your major systems. We would look at heart, lungs, major organs, things like that.
Okay.
And then we would look at your physiology, and then we would look at hormones. We would look at all of this stuff, and we would start ruling out things. What you do is you don't figure out what's wrong, you figure out what isn't wrong, and you see what's left. It's a funnel, and then you get down to a list of things that gets very narrow, and you go, okay, now we're down to only things that it could be. And you talk about anxiety neurosis as though it's not a real disease, as though it's not a real thing, which is kind of an insult to me.
Sorry.
Since I've devoted my entire life to the diagnosis and treatment of mental illness, to me, there's no stigma to having an anxiety disorder. To me, it's the same as having a kidney disorder or a knee problem or arthritis. It's very real. If you have a problem with anxiety, it changes your body chemistry.
I think I've acknowledged it. I just feel that I'm having an underlying cause for it.
I can't find it if you don't get that under control. This will mask anything that's going on with you.
Okay, I can agree with that.
That will hide it.
Yeah.
It will mask it. Whether it's a heart problem, a heart valve problem, whatever's going on, this will mask it until you get this under control. They will never find it. You're hiding it.
Well, the problem is getting it under control because I can't find a medicine that works.
Don't need one. So, what is to be done in this situation? Is it possible for her to get back to being her old self and to do it without medication? I'm not a big one for throwing pills. We'll be right back. Closed captioning provided by... What I'm saying is, for very understandable reasons, about a year ago during your pregnancy, finding out that you have a gene that makes you susceptible to breast cancer, finding out that you have family members with cancer, having a big physiological change during pregnancy, kind of a lot of things conspire at one time. You do have a reaction at this time. Now, you started having some physiological reactions. We only have one arousal system. It's the same arousal system if you're excited at a football game as you have if you hear somebody sneaking up behind you in a dark alley.
Okay.
It's the same arousal system, it's just how you label it. But your body does the same thing. You've got an endocrine system that triggers when it gets a signal. And your endocrine system is triggering. You're having anxiety, and anxiety is a fear response in the absence of a real and present danger. There's not any real danger there, but you're having a reaction as though there were. Mm-hmm. And you're having panic attacks to the point that your chemistry gets so out of balance that you actually do hyperventilate. You actually do get hot and flush, and you feel numbness throughout your body. Absolutely.
My mouth quit working.
Right. You get dry, you start sweating your palms. A lot of different things will happen with different people. But what I'm saying is, as long as you are in this chronic state of anxiety arousal, there's no way to effectively measure what else is going on with you. So we have to treat that as though that is a real thing and not something that doctors are just giving the back of their hand, oh, you're just having anxiety. What you need is to learn to control your body. And we can do this with biofeedback, neurotherapy. We can do it with a number of things that you exercise control over your body to learn to control your system and get the anxiety where you can control it. And you don't need medication for that.
Okay.
There's biofeedback training, there's neurotherapy for your brain, where you're able to control this 100% without medication.
I would love that.
And we will start that immediately.
Okay, thank
Okay?
you.
Fair enough? All right, I want to thank all of my guests today. We'll see you next time. All right, we got a plan.